All right, welcome back to the 1090 podcast. I'm here with Boston Lambourne and Isaiah Reiser. We got some young pups in the studio today. Isaiah, you're 17?
Yep.
And Boston's 18, so a junior, senior in high school. You guys are buddies and teammates for Copper Hill's basketball team.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, pretty good. Boston, we started training. How old were
I
you?
don't even know. Maybe
10.
I was like 10, 12, maybe.
10, 12, maybe older. 12.
Yeah, maybe a little older, but
Yeah, so I met you, started training.
yeah.
Isaiah, I don't know if I ever trained you. I think I trained all your cousins.
Yeah. And then we played on that Showtime team.
Yeah, I got you on my
First day.
Showtime team. We were kicking ass with that Showtime
Yeah,
team.
that was fun.
Yeah, it was sweet. I combined Princeton and Villanova
Yeah.
spread.
Yeah.
It was sweet.
I know, that was
We'd just
sick.
do a Princeton back cut flare, and then we just open it up to dribble drive.
Yeah.
Let's do this. Since you guys are both hoopers, well, before we go any further, you guys are in the state tournament coming up. Your game's Friday,
Yeah, Friday.
playing Westlake.
Yeah, at Westlake.
I did a speaking gig at Westlake High School, so I like them, but I do hope you guys beat them.
Thank
Me
you.
too.
Thank you.
So you guys are the 10th seed?
Yep.
Yeah.
You guys are good, though. I've seen you play. You guys are going to
Yeah.
be a tough out.
Yeah, we had a chance to get an 8 seed in a home game, but we blew one.
What was your toughest loss of the year? Like the one that one hurt?
I would probably have to say at Corner Canyon because going into the game, you're like so confident that we could beat them. And like we had a good week of practice and everything, and they just came out and like spanked us. Like went down like 15-2.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and we were just way confident, felt good about the game, and then just got smacked.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sucks.
That one or Davis?
Yeah, Davis
Davis was
too.
kind of like that too. But
You guys like playing for Coach Alfrey?
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
Alfrey's a good guy.
he's a good guy.
Yeah, he coached me my sophomore year.
Yeah, I'm sure he's a lot more intense then than he might be now.
Yeah, I know when I spoke to your guys' basketball team, I told you guys he was like the opening scene in Full Metal Jacket.
Oh yeah.
You guys ever seen that movie?
I've heard about it though.
You gotta go watch it. There might be like 1,000 F-bombs in the first 20 minutes, so just I don't know what the household rules are, but
It's nothing new for Alfred.
what so to end the podcast, I want to do like a fantasy draft. I think that'll be like a fun way to end. But real quick before we get rolling, let's do a Mount Rushmore top 4 best basketball players ever. I'd love to hear some teenagers' opinions on this. Isaiah, let's have you go first.
Number 1, LeBron. 2, MJ. 3, Kobe. 4, let's go KD.
Kevin Durant.
Wow.
He's the
Boston, what do you
scorer.
got?
I don't know. I'm not going in order, but MJ, LeBron, and then I don't even know who I'd put in the other categories. or
Please don't
spots.
say KD again.
I'm not
KD's
saying
the best
KD.
scorer.
No, KD's really good. I just don't like him.
Steph.
Like, imagine, Isaiah, imagine losing to Corner Canyon, and they're like, hey, can I be on your guys' team?
Yeah.
That's
That'd be
Kevin Durant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
True.
it'd be like you leaving to go to corner.
So, Boston, you're stopping it, too? You
No,
don't even want to
maybe
throw
like
in?
You got to put Steph up there, bro.
Why?
I don't know. You just love Steph.
Steph or Magic? You can go Magic, and then Kobe, I guess.
So that's 5 players. We need
Or-
4.
Yeah, just Magic and Kobe.
Magic, Kobe. So you got MJ, LeBron, Magic, Kobe.
Yeah.
I'll go. So I think Michael, Kobe, and Allen Iverson are like the 3 baddest dudes to ever touch a basketball. Like, I think skill level, athleticism, mindset, defense, offense. Those are the 3 baddest dudes. I think the 4 best players with like the 4 best resumes would be MJ, LeBron, Kareem, and then you gotta go. I like Shaq. Shaq's just too dominant. I'm gonna go Shaq. I hate that I have 2 big guys in there, but that's just the way it unfolded before me today. So there you go.
What about Bill Russell's resume?
I think Bill Russell is the most overrated player.
That's
Like,
what I think. I don't.
He played in an era where there's 8 teams. So, like, already in the Elite Eight to start the year. Like, wow. Like, well, we got a shot here. Never, like, leading scorer.
Yeah.
John Havlicek carried his ass.
Yeah, I agree.
He literally just had to rebound, and that's what he did, and that's what he's good at. But he should not be mentioned with those other dudes. Like, he would be like a Draymond Green now.
It's probably
That's true.
If he could pass. Like, I don't know. Like, good luck, Bill. You're like 6'10".
Yeah,
That's my thoughts on Bill Russell. How'd that go for you?
I kind of agree. I
Oh,
don't
wow.
think he should be up there.
Okay. We're going to take a dark turn to the left here and change the subject to probably something you guys don't really talk about a lot, but deal with daily, I'm assuming. So it's kind of weird because usually when I have multiple people on, it's the same story, but these are 2 totally different stories, so I'm not really sure how this is going to go. But I'll read Boston. I'll read yours first.
Okay.
Is that cool?
Yeah, it works.
Okay, so Boston, how old are you when this happened?
10.
You're
Just barely
10.
turned 10. So,
And it happened at Bear Lake.
yeah.
And that's where my family was there. That family vacation they took.
Yeah.
Man, I remember talking to your dad. He was one of the first people I had talked to after the accident.
Yeah.
I mean, like, actually talked to. Like, I
Yeah.
talked to a lot of people,
Yeah.
but I was just probably not even,
Yeah. I mean,
like, in my own head. But your dad, Josh, was one of the first people I even cared to talk to. And we
Yeah.
started going to lunch
yeah. I do remember that,
because, so he lost your mom, his wife,
yeah.
and your sister, his daughter,
Yeah.
in a drowning accident.
Yeah.
And so, like, just we had so much. I mean, losing a spouse, losing a kid is just not good.
Yeah.
And so he was someone that I could just really lean on. And
Yeah.
man, I remember talking to him about, man, we were talking. I was just picking his brain. I'm like, can you eat yet? Or I'm like, how long did it take you to be able to eat?
Yeah.
Because I couldn't even eat food
Yeah.
yet. And he's like, yeah, like I lost so much weight. I'm like, yeah, me too.
Yeah.
And I'm like, when'd you go back to work? And he's like, oh man, like maybe, I don't remember what he said, but I was impressed by, I think he said like 6 months.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my gosh, like I can't even imagine that. And we were just having like, man, I could just be honest and open up to your dad. It was great. And then he's like, you should buy XRP.
Oh, yeah. I remember that. Actually.
And so I'm like, what's that? He tells me. And, because I asked him, like, what do you do for work? He's like, I do a couple of things. Like right now I'm doing this XRP. And so I bought Boston. I bought like $30,000 worth of XRP.
I remember this actually.
And I buy it at like 70 cents. And I have no idea what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So then your dad texts me. Because I'm like in grief. Like I'm just trying not to kill myself today.
Yeah.
And so I remember Josh texting me like, hey, Mace, something's going on. You need to save your XRP to this drive thing.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right. So he comes over. He's so nice. He comes over. He moves all my XRP to this memory device. He's like, okay, you need to remember the password and all this stuff. And now XRP is doing good. It's up to like, I don't know, something. And so I have some money here, and I can't find the password, Boston. It's gone. Really? It's lost. I'm screwed. I don't know where it's at. It's like a 17-word. It's intense, and I have no idea where it is.
Didn't write it down.
So the moral of the story: don't buy XRP in the middle of your grief journey because you're not going to remember the password anyway, even if it goes up. Yeah, anyway, your dad we're just good buddies now. We still chat all the time, but man, I just had a flood of memories come back with that. Okay. All right, here we go. We lost 2 special angels during an annual family outing at our beloved family vacation home on Bear Lake. Surrounded by siblings, cousins, and family members, Jennifer Ann Nelson Lambourne and Brooklyn May Lambourne passed away on August 3rd, 2016, while rescuing a younger niece/cousin. I didn't know if I knew that. Greater love hath no man than this, that a man lay down his life for his friends. John 15:13. This exemplified Jenny and Brooklyn. They were the light of our lives, and we will miss them. Jenny was born on Mother's Day, May 13th, 1979. She married Joshua Kenner Lambourne on July 31st, 2002 in the Salt Lake Temple, and was the perfect soulmate to Josh and an exemplary mother to Brooklyn and Boston. Jenny attended Southern Utah University and graduated from the University of Utah with a degree in elementary education with an early childhood endorsement. Her passions in life were her family and making a difference in the lives of children. She and her good friend operated and taught at Guided Exploration Preschool for 13 years. Taking Brooklyn and Boston along with her, Jenny was fiercely protective of her children. When it was time, she went with them to elementary school, becoming a first grade teacher at East Lake Elementary School, right behind their home. Jenny was loved by all who knew her and by all of the students whose lives she touched. She was organized and prepared, but flexible and willing to allow her students to have the experiences that they each needed. Talented and creative, she made learning exciting. She was an avid reader, staying up late to read, especially during breaks from school. Jenny loved to travel and planned fun trips with her family and extended family, often to Disneyland and many other fun places. She also loved working in young men's program, and they loved her. She was a loving support to Josh when he lost his dad to cancer. She helped him remember the big picture that love transcends this world and that he would be with his dad again. Sweet Angel Brooklyn joined Josh and Jenny's eternal family on February 18th, 2005. What's the date today? February
16th, isn't it?
Yeah, sorry. I thought we were close to that date. February 18, 2005. A bundle of happy smiles who brought joy to her large extended family. The cousins have always said that Brooklyn was their favorite because she always took time to spend time with each of them. Brooklyn loved to set up a school or a daycare, complete with worksheets, desks, assignments, notes for her parents, everything needed. Just the way her mom did it in her classroom, Brooklyn really loved to play with her baby cousins and was often drawn to them in quiet moments. She loved to play with American Girl dolls with her special friends in the big dollhouse that Grandpa Nelson built, and she sewed clothes for them, following in her Grandma Nelson's footsteps. Brooklyn followed her mom's example and was also an avid advanced reader, reading long into the night under the covers with a flashlight. She loved playing games with the family and writing notes and letters to brighten someone's day. She was her Nana Carrie's little shopping buddy and loved helping all of her grandmas plant flowers. Brooklyn loved dancing with her dance company friends. She loved all animals, especially Bella, the family Yorkie, who was her best friend. She had a special connection with her Grandma Kathy when it came to animals. Her dreams became a reality when she started taking horseback riding lessons this summer. Brooklyn was thoughtful, kind, and selfless, traits that she learned from her mother. She was Jenny's mini-me, always following in her mother's footsteps. She worried about her grandpa Rick as he was fighting cancer, wearing the Team Rick sweatshirt to bed at night. Brooklyn and Boston, just 17 months apart in age, were especially close. Brooklyn was the best big sister ever. Until they got too big, they were often found asleep in the same bed. 6 months ago, Boston moved his bed into Brooklyn's room to be with her, where they would say prayers and then fall asleep together. Until we see them again, Jenny and Brooklyn are survived by their devoted husband and father, Josh, and loving son and brother, Boston. Sorry, Boston. When's the last time you read that or heard that?
I've actually never read that fully.
Yeah.
Which is weird. I never really thought about it.
Yeah. Well, you probably don't know who wrote it then, but whoever wrote that did a really good job.
I remember someone telling me who wrote it, but I forget who exactly wrote it.
So you were 10, and how old was Brooklyn?
Like 11, 12.
11. 17 months apart.
Yeah.
All right, Isaiah, we'll do your dad now. How did your dad die?
Cancer.
Do you know what kind?
Well, he had it twice. It was in his kidney, and it came in his kidney, but they had to remove his one kidney, so he was just living with one kidney, and then it came back, so, and the other kidney, and it just spread from there, so.
And you were 8?
Yeah.
Okay. Was your dad a hooper like you?
Yeah, he played at Montana for college,
Yeah.
and, like, Slick, and, like, another school in, like, Georgia, so he was all over in college.
Yeah, you're one of the more athletic players I've seen. Just not in terms of how high you can jump,
Yeah.
but or how fast you are, but the balance you have and your shoulder level.
Yeah.
Is, I don't even know how you coach it. It's so, your shoulders are so close to your knees, which makes you really hard to go. Anyway, I'm just turning this into a basketball thing. But, no, I remember hearing about I think Bill.
Yeah.
Dash's dad was telling me about Corey once, and he was a hooper and all these things.
From what I heard, he was pretty good.
Yeah. Okay, Corey. Corey was born on April 3rd, 1977, and passed away on May 17th, 2016, at the age of 39. Corey is now embraced in God's sweet eternal love. He took his last breath surrounded in love from his family. It was cancer that destroyed his body, but the flesh is not who we are. We are eternal souls, and it is life that gives Corey value in creating his story. Corey leaves a legacy of abundant love and respect for his son, Isaiah. He is a loving, devoted father, involving himself in every detail of his son's life. He is a man of strong faith, a God-loving Christian with a strong personal relationship with his Creator and strength in Christ's love. As a child, Corey was always a good student with goals and great expectations. God blessed him with amazing speed and athletic abilities. He excelled at basketball, baseball, and football. He was proud to play basketball for the University of Montana Grizzlies, where he made many lasting friendships. He married Karen Anderson, the mother of his only child, in 2005. They were later divorced, but remained good friends and equal partners in raising their son. Corey has always been an independent thinker. He is a free spirit who seldom judges others. He is funny, seldom taking life too serious. Like, Bill, if you're listening to this, dude, take a page from your brother, dude. Chill out. Jeez. He loves wrestling with Isaiah, enjoying time with his family, golf, animals, dinner at his sister's house, watching the Utah Utes basketball team, his beloved Chicago Cubs, and watching his son play sports. He has enjoyed many traveling adventures all over the world, exploring beaches in Bermuda, Hawaii, and many islands in the Caribbean. He has fond memories of Europe, New Zealand, and Australia. Corey leaves behind his young son, Isaiah, Corey Reiser, his parents, Chris and Fred Reiser, his brother, Bill, whom he has always looked up to, his sister, Shannon, who has been there for him in so many ways, and Justin, who is more like a brother than a brother-in-law. Corey is a fun, adoring uncle to Courtney, Pat, Austin, Justice, Aubrey, Ace, Dash, and Nixon. He was also blessed to have 2 special cousins who have been his best friends for many years. PJ Holden and Joe Reiser. The 3 are all sports enthusiasts with the same sick sense of humor. Corey has always believed that everything happens for a reason and that God sends you the right people at the right time. Having said that, Corey and his family would like to thank the Larry and Jan, Kristoviak family. Wow, thank you. Mm-hmm. Who from the get-go jumped in with both feet, knowing that it would be tough to embrace. Corey is grateful to work with so many wonderful friends at TSA, Salt Lake International, who visited often and have donated their personal vacation time so he could keep his employment and medical insurance active. Many thanks to the Brian Ellison family and all the friends and family that contributed their time and donations for Corey's Cancer Fund. Okay, should be a good one today. Welcome back to the 1090 podcast. Life's 10% what happens to you and 90% what you're going to do about it. How are you guys feeling after the obituaries? Are we okay?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Feeling good.
they're good. It's kind of weird. I've never read that fully, so it's kind of
Yeah, I never read my
interesting.
kids' like their obituaries either until I read it on the podcast. I want to have you guys on. You guys are young. You guys are teenagers. This happened. Boston for you around 10. Isaiah for you around 8. Two different stories, two different times. So I don't really know how we're going to bounce around with this. But I do know grief isn't talked about enough,
Yeah.
thought about enough in the world of adults. And so I would imagine I don't know, actually. I think if you're a little kid, you just say whatever. You let it fly. Like, you have no filter. But then, if you're a teenager, I don't imagine there's a whole lot of opportunities for you guys to talk about losing your dad, losing your mom and your sister. Boston, you're an only child.
Yeah. Yeah, until my dad married Amy, but...
Right, but when I was reading the obituary, I'm like, man, that's Blue. Blue
Yeah.
became an only child. And reading your dad's obituary, sounds like me and Blue now. Blue's my everything.
Mm-hmm.
And then if I got cancer, oh man, so I'm not really sure how to start this, but I just wanted to ask you guys, what as a kid, battling through this grief journey that you guys are going through, what's it been like carrying the weight of it? I don't know who wants to go first, but
Sure. Definitely, I would say as a kid, you kind of don't really, well, at least for me, I kind of didn't understand what was kind of going on. Being 8 years old, you hear about death that young, but I would kind of say you don't know, that it's actually forever. Basically, as a little kid, I didn't know, my dad was going to be gone forever kind of thing. I remember being over at his house when he passed away, and, everybody was sad. I just remember, the vibe was really down.
Were you told, your dad might die or he's going to die?
Yeah, they let me, well, everybody kind of knew, the day before. So, I went over there and, said goodbye and stuff. But
wait, hold on. I want to talk about this. So you're 8.
yeah.
Your dad's gonna die tomorrow.
Yeah.
Are you just shocked? Don't know
uh,
what is this normal? Does everyone's dad die when they're 8? Are you do you even remember?
So, what I remember mostly is, being sad, but also, not thinking it was, like I said, be forever, I didn't think, it's hard to put into words, but it was, that, I would see, him again almost, but, I didn't kind of thing, I don't know.
And your parents were divorced at the time?
Yeah.
So you're kind of used to, time with mom and then time with dad. So as a little 8-year-old, your body and you're just used to not seeing him.
Yeah.
And then I'll see him again.
Mm-hmm.
But this time it's
I won't see him. Yeah. So that was kind of the biggest thing for me, just adjusting. And then, once I got older, it kind of hit that okay, he's not coming back. So
when you say older, how much older do you think?
I would probably say it hit when just a year after. The first year was probably the roughest for me. Just that 9 and 10 stage, because you kind of start to realize what's going on. He hasn't been around for that long, so you're kind of just I just remember thinking always I gotta go 50 or plus or however more years I got living without him now. So it's kind of just
wow. I do that
just
all
that
the
big.
time.
Yeah.
Man, if I live to 70, which sounds terrible, then yeah, how many years? I do that all the time.
Yeah.
You were doing that as a little kid.
Yeah.
Just because you missed him, you want to see your dad.
Yeah.
But communication,
Mm-hmm.
you're a little kid. You see your mom hurting, everyone around you hurting. Did you talk about it a lot, or did you feel maybe what was that like in terms of talking about it?
I would definitely say in the early stages when it happened, their support was there a lot. A lot of people were comforting my family and me even, but as a little kid, I don't remember talking about it as much, but like we all knew kind of like what was going on, and it felt like everyone I was around kind of knew, and like I could tell they were like trying to be, gentle with me
Yeah.
and like not to say anything crazy, but I would definitely say like as time goes on, it kind of just like gets like normal, I would say, and everybody kind of like it settles down and the tension's kind of down and everybody kind of already knows now. So
Yeah, I think for me, you're right. It's kind of like on everyone. It's like the elephant in the room. It's
Yeah.
kind of on everyone's mind, but then like we're not talking about it though.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, like that just makes me feel crazy. Like, and I feel like alienated and just so alone in a room full of so many people. Do you like? And here's the other thing, because people are telling me like, well, I don't want to like talk about it because I don't know what it would do to you.
Yeah.
It's not like you're gonna tell me something about Courtney or my kids, and then I'm gonna be like, oh yeah, like they died. I forgot about it's always there. Like
Yeah.
it's not like you're gonna catch me off guard.
Mm-hmm.
And so like for me, it was like, why can't we talk about this?
Yeah.
It's on all our minds. How come we can't get it out into the air?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you have any thoughts on that, but did you feel confused or maybe have thoughts like I wish we could like why can't we talk about it? Or
Yeah.
what was that like, Isaiah?
Yeah. Growing up, I was always kind of like I'm not gonna lie, I avoided like bringing it up, just because like nobody
hurts.
really, yeah, and it
Sucks.
just especially that young, it kind of you're not like I don't want to say mentally tough, but like obviously you're not gonna like I tended to cry like a lot when like I would talk about him, so I was just mostly like really sensitive that young talking about it, so I would just kind of avoid it, with
Yeah.
people. So
Okay, so you get to the day of, get to his house, he dies.
yeah, so we're like we're all like in the house, and I just remember like my aunt and everybody's telling me I'm just shooting basket. Like we have a mini hoop in my dad's house, and they just tell me I was playing basketball. Like fine, like it's fine. I'm not too sad. I remember like just the vibe being really down, but I was like, why is everybody kind of sad? Then I remember going in to like see my dad, and like I remember, like I was with my mom. She took me in there, and I saw him, and like I remember he was on a side of the bed where I usually slept on, because like I slept with my dad when I was little, because like I don't know, I was just super scared of my room. But I just remember like making a joke about kind of like, oh, he was sleeping on like my side of the bed, or like why would he do that, or like so I just remember being that young, kind of just trying to like my aunt always says like I was making it better because I was like making jokes, and like I was kind of like the light in the dark room.
Wow.
But yeah, just being 8 and that young, I kind of didn't know like it was
Your
gonna be
brain
like
just
this.
didn't know how to process any of it.
Yeah, so I just didn't think it was real, kind of being that young. But I could tell something was wrong, obviously.
What do you remember about the funeral? Is it just a blur or
I remember crying a lot. Like everybody was crying. I remember just really quiet. Like it was just kind of sad. Like I remember the talks. Like I was in front row. My mom was with me. Family, just a lot of hugs. Normal stuff. But just like a sad. Like I just remember like a sad like feeling. I don't know. Just
Yeah.
sad.
I'm just trying to think like listening to you and then Blue is obviously much younger than you.
Yeah.
But it's just hard to know what's going on in these kids' heads. And usually kids are so resilient, like much more resilient than the adults, I think. And I think part of it is just their brain does, just like you're saying, your brain doesn't even really know what the heck's going on. What I thought I had with Blue is like, as Blue gets older and, you start to learn about family dynamics. And most people have a mom and dad.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people have a mom and dad and brothers and sisters. And if they die, it's usually pretty rare. But then Blue's gonna learn. I don't know how to say this, but he's gonna learn how sad it is.
Yeah.
Like as he's growing up, I think. Is that something you did, like, as you get older in your teenage years, like, man, this is actually not okay at all and not supposed to happen, and why was it my dad, and why was it... When did those thoughts start to come in for you?
Yeah, all the time. Like when you said like why, like it's kind of like the denial kind of,
Yeah.
or just like why me, or like why this, But definitely as like a teenager, it kind of hit more because that's when life is kind of getting like going. Like high school basketball is starting. Like you're introduced to a lot of new things, and just not like having your dad there kind of just sucked. So I just remember like thinking, like I wish you were like here right now to like give me advice, and like so I don't have to like I love my family and everybody else, but it's just not his like
Yeah.
advice. So I just
Sure.
kind of would always like wonder and just like sit down and think like what he would say to me. So yeah.
Yeah. Can we go to Boston for a minute?
Mhm.
And then we'll kind of combine it after. I just want to hear... Well, Isaiah, anything else you want to talk about, like that day of losing your dad, or you feel good about that?
Yeah, no, I feel good.
Okay. Boston. You're 10 years old.
Yeah.
Family vacation. So you're a little older than Isaiah. So
Yeah.
And a totally different type of loss.
Yeah. So, I guess just understanding the seriousness of it. Like, because I remember I was little, like, the day it happened. I think we drove back by, like, our Bear Lake cabin. And I still wanted to, like, go play with my cousins or something. Like, I remember saying something about that. So it's like, I didn't understand what exactly had happened.
Yeah, you're just on family vacation. Yeah.
So, like, that was, I guess, my mindset. But then, I guess, realizing that every day, like, your everyday life is completely different now. Like, a huge part of it's gone. I mean, my mom taught at the school I went to, basically all growing up. My sister went there. We always used to, like, go visit her. So, like, going back to school and stuff, even, like, she's just not there. So that's, like, it kind of hit me a little quicker because it's, like, she's just not there. It's, like, you're just used to her being there.
Like
She's not there.
everywhere you went was your
Yeah.
mom.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Like, even, yeah.
Do you remember, like, what do you remember the day of? Like, people going into the water, people screaming, ambulance showing up?
I probably remember that probably the most vividly. So my sister and my cousin were out, like, on these floaties, right?
Yeah.
So then, Bear Lake weather, I don't know how much you know about that, but it can just pick up out of nowhere. My dad went to the bathroom at, like, the cabin because the beach is, like, right here. Cabin's, like, very, like, pretty close. It's, like, just right up there. So my dad just drove up there, went to go to the bathroom. The wind picked up, blew them, like, way out on the floaty, but my cousin had, like, this thing on her head. She wasn't, like, supposed to get it wet. So, like, so when she fell in, and the wind blew them, like, way, they were pretty far out. So the wind blew them far out. My sister jumped in, like, knowing she can't get her head wet. My sister jumped in. They can't reach. My sister held her up. Then I remember my mom going to jump in. This is all, like, it feels like a long time, but it all happened so, like, quickly. So I remember just a bunch of people going in. I remember specifically my mom just running in, like, taking her shirt off, diving in. Then I remember my dad pulling up, like, not too long later, realizes what's going on. He goes to jump in. And I guess, like, then I remember my aunt. So, like, I was still on the shore because I didn't know what to do. My aunt's, like, gathering all the kids, telling everyone not to move. And then, so my dad went in. Apparently my mom, like, said, save Brooklyn, like my sister, go save her. So my dad's going in looking for Brooklyn, and she held Kate up. And eventually, I don't know how, but Kate ended up to my mom. So I don't know how that ended up happening. My mom got to her. And they were pretty far apart.
So your mom was holding up Kate,
yeah.
and then Kate got to your mom?
No, my sister was holding up Kate. So then all of a sudden, like, they were kind of far apart. So I don't know how exactly it happened, but my mom had gone to Kate.
Gotcha.
My mom was holding her up. And then my dad had waved down some, like, jet skiers, like, right next to us to come help us. So then they came over. I'm still on the shore. I kind of freaking out. Like, I don't know what's going on. Then I remember just standing there. I'd see a jet skier come in with someone, like I could tell they were unconscious. I kind of thought it was my cousin at first, and then I got closer. I see it was my mom, like unconscious. So they started giving her CPR. That's kind of when I lost it. Like I started crying and I ran back. Then eventually, I don't even know how it happened, but eventually my dad got back to the shore. We just sat there. Apparently within a time, like my dad was crying. I said like, calm down, Dad, or something within that time. And then from there, we went to the hospital. The ambulance came, took my mom. They found my sister like late at night. She was like, I don't even know, 60 feet deep. She's pretty deep. And then after that, I remember the doctor coming out saying, she's gone, like my mom's gone. And then after that, I kind of don't remember. Apparently, I was talking to my dad not too long ago about this. After that, apparently they brought my sister and they found her later that night. But I don't remember any of that part. But
Yeah.
that's about what I remember.
I'm so sorry, man.
Oh, no, it's good. It's just crazy.
Brooklyn's a hero.
Yeah.
I'm sure your dad said that. My mind probably just doesn't remember parts of the story, but how old was Brooklyn? A little older than you, so 11, right? Almost
11,
12.
Almost 12.
And
she's jumping in.
She jumped in and held her up.
In deep water.
A little girl, like she's a badass.
Yeah.
How's that been on your family, dude? Like, guilt and relationships after that, like, or maybe you don't even know because you were just a little kid, but that's such a hard, brutal.
Yeah.
Oh man! And then no person ever deserves to watch their mom die in front of them. Like that's just. So I mean, this is part of the reason why I want to have you guys on. Like, you're just walking around Copper Hills High School, and people are bitching about they didn't ask me to prom, and you're like, I watched my mom die on a beach, and my sister drowned.
Yeah.
And Isaiah, like, I lost my dad to cancer. Like, I just want to like get into your like, how is being a teenager with this amount of grief? Like, what's your day like? I can't understand it, guys. Help me out here.
For me, it's kind of just like off and on. There'll be like specific things that'll just like bring me back to like I miss them. Like how does that even happen? But and then I don't even know. It's just weird.
It's hard because you don't even know what to compare it to. Like your whole life, you've just been carrying this, so like you don't even know what it's like not to have it.
Yeah.
Almost. It almost seems normal. Like this amount of. Yeah, Isaiah, what about you?
Definitely like in high school. It's what grabs my attention a lot is like high school kids. I feel like can be like it's almost they take things for granted, and like I just like like that just bugs me kind of like when you like the people with like the high self-esteems or like they're like so like high school kids can be jerks. So like one day you could wake up and like your family could be gone, or like what happened to you, like you don't know that that's gonna happen. So it's kind of just like I would just say like don't take stuff for granted. Really, it's kind of like what I kind of live by now, that like I know what it feels like, and I feel like some people like take things for granted, like what they have.
And also like Corey and your mom and sister, like they're all great people.
Yeah.
And that like, is that confusing to you guys? Like being a good person, like actually doesn't really matter in a lot of ways. Like you can die from cancer, from a drowning accident. Like no one's safe. Is anxiety or those types of thoughts hard for you guys at all? Or is that something that's been easy for you guys to carry?
With like they're good people part, it's like I always just wonder like why was it them? Like they always try to do the right thing. They always like even beliefs with another power, I guess, is like they always went to church. They always prayed, and like it's like
They did everything they were supposed to.
So then it's like, why? How does that happen? But I also don't like to question that kind of stuff because it's like I don't understand it fully.
Yeah. Do you say you don't like the question? Or
No, like I don't like to question it. Like I don't.
oh, you don't like the question.
Like it happened. I like to think everything happened for some sort of reason, so I don't want to like get into all that.
Yeah. Just focus on what you can control.
Yeah.
Isaiah, what about you?
Yeah, I would agree. Like, just the thought of like my dad getting it twice, kind of, and like my dad was a healthy guy, like always in the gym. Like he played college basketball. Like you got to be pretty healthy to play at that level. So just the fact that he even got cancer kind of blew all of our minds really, and just like what Boston was saying and what in the obituary it said my dad believes like everything happens for a reason, and on the back of my dad's tombstone it says God has a plan for me. So I believe that like God has a plan for each and every one of us, and it's just my dad's plan to just leave early, I guess.
Yeah. What are some of like the benefits you think? Like you guys have gone through so much at such a young age. Do you think that's helped you in some other areas that maybe a lot of your peers just don't get because they haven't been through that hell? I just want to talk about maybe some of the good things that have come from the absolute worst thing that's happened to you guys.
Yeah, I actually think about that a lot. Believe it or not, I always think like it's not like lucky that it happened to me, but it also taught me a ton that a kid that age wouldn't have known unless they've gone through that. Like even stuff you don't want to do, it's like I watched this happen, so like this is easy, in compared to that.
So how do you?
that
Because I
mindset.
have that too, Boston. But how do you? Because like people are like, it's like, how do you public speaking? Like that's scary,
Yeah.
and I'm like, yeah, it is. But like compared to seeing 5 of my family members going to the
Yeah.
ground, it's not that. It's just it doesn't really matter. Like it's
Yeah,
not like
yeah.
if they hate my public
Yeah.
speech, like okay,
Yeah.
like I'm gonna, I like it. Just everything seems to fail in comparison to that.
Yeah.
And it's great and liberating in many ways, but I do think like okay, like the ego and taking it too far can step in.
Yeah.
So you ever struggle with that sometimes, like, oh, I'm this strong guy, like I've been through
Yeah.
this, you haven't even been
Yeah.
through that.
Yeah, I definitely try not to take it there.
Yeah, because it can turn on you and you
Yeah.
just turn into
It's even like workouts with basketball. Like you don't want to keep running. It's like I can do it because it's like I've done hard things, like harder things.
Yeah, so do you think about that stuff when you guys are like running or going? Because I do, or doing something hard. I think about
I do.
that.
Yeah,
I'm like,
I do all
dude,
the time.
and it's like it helps me. I just tattooing when I'm getting tattooed. I just think about them and what it was like for them, and I just can sit there all day and just take it because, there's just something about that.
Yeah.
Oh, I had a question. Ryan, you have any questions? As I try to catch my thoughts here.
I'm just curious, like, because we talk about how talking about it, you kind of have to facilitate an environment like this to talk about it.
Yeah.
And do you feel like you get to talk about it as much as you want to talk about it? Or is it something that you feel like...
Yeah, like, would you guys want to talk about this more? Or, like, it's very uncomfortable. You hate it. Like, maybe just once in a while. What are your thoughts on that?
You can go ahead.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. It's always I don't really talk about it as much as I probably should. So, just growing up, didn't really talk about it much either. So I would definitely kind of say talking about it more would be helpful. So I'm grateful that we can be here and talk
Like,
about these things.
Do all your friends know about it, or some of them, or like, how do you mention it to them? Like when or how?
Like
or do they just ask you like, "Where's your dad?" And you're like, "He died." And
Yeah.
they're like, "Oh."
Yes, like that's the stuff I try to avoid. It's just like awkward, I guess. But like we said before, it's kind of like that tension in the room where it's like they know but we don't talk about it kind of thing. So it's kind of just like the elephant in the room, like they know but you don't want to say anything. It's kind of just like,
Yeah. Boston, what about you?
Yeah, kind of the same thing. I don't like to go around telling people about it, but like if it comes up, like I'll tell you. I remember one time someone like didn't believe it was true,
No,
and I was like, yeah, well, yeah, it happened. I don't know what else to tell you.
what's it like being a kid? And I know both your parents, and they're great parents, great people. But like, do you remember? Like, what's it like being raised by a parent who's grieving? Do you remember having thoughts of like they're not paying enough attention to me, or they're not, or the communication with how you feel, or did it just make the relationship a lot stronger and better? I'm just trying to understand Blue a little bit and how he views me. Just trying to pick your brains a little bit. Do you guys have any memories being super young, like right after they died? What it was like to be with your dad or mom? How they were doing?
Yeah, my mom was very strong. Actually, I do remember like there were some hard times between both of us, but for the most part, well, at the time I also had like four siblings because my mom went and married another man at the time, and so she was taking a big load with all that going on, and I was the only one at the house kind of that was like with my mom, right, and my dad's kids. So it was kind of just me, but she also had four other kids, so she had to balance all of us, kind of. And I thought she held it really well, but there was some times where I remember just like she would break down and like it was kind of just stressful for her because I remember she had to like work night shift jobs too, so it was kind of just a lot for her. But
Yeah.
I mean, she's just a strong woman and she took a lot on, especially raising me, knowing what was going on with me, and like she has four other kids, so
Yeah.
it's just crazy.
You're pretty close with your mom?
Yeah,
Yeah, when she's at all your tournaments
yeah,
that,
yeah. My
that
mom,
I've seen, yeah.
she tries not to miss too many games, but she lives in Vegas right now with my stepbrothers and stepsisters. So
So are you living with who you live with? Oh,
Shannon and
oh yeah,
Justin,
okay.
my
I
dad's.
knew that. I knew that.
Yeah.
Boston, what about you, dude? Your dad, Josh, is just going through it. Like
Yeah.
he's crying on the beach, and you're like, "It's okay." What'd you tell him? It's okay, or calm
I
down.
think
Or...
he said I said like calm down, Dad, or something.
Man, that's just like. So me and Blue didn't go through what you. I mean, that's just a next level of hell. Like seeing it and all the things. I forgot what I was gonna say. Where was I going with this, David? Oh, like so your dad's crying on the beach and you comfort him. Like I feel like Blue does that for me a lot.
Yeah.
Like he and I need it and I love it and it's the cutest thing, but it also worries me. Like
Yeah.
like I can't put my emotional burden on him. But unfortunately, like it just kind of comes with the territory sometimes. Like I can't help it. He sees my face, he sees me crying, he sees my demeanor, and he can tell, and he hugs me, and he asks me to play catch, or he sometimes he'll just leave me alone. Like, and he's 7.
Yeah.
He's this very observant, empathetic kid, and I really anyway. Was it like that for you and Josh, or what was that like?
I mean, after that, it was just us two, so it was just kind of we were always together. I think he did. I think he did a decent job at like not showing me all that he was going through. Like he didn't like try to make me sad and all that. But I mean, we slept together for a long time after that, like probably a year or two. And then we were always together. We went fishing. We went vacations. Like so, we were always kind of just together. So I mean that.
Yeah, and you guys have this gift of like we could literally die today on the way home from this, and just really savoring every moment.
Yeah.
You guys lose people you love most at an early age. There's many ways to cope, especially for young kids, and a lot of those ways aren't good. Drugs, alcohol, sex. But all those things are actually great, but just in a certain time and place. So like, anyway, there's a lot of paths you guys can go down that just aren't good.
Yeah.
I think you guys are really, really good basketball players, but more impressed with the type of kids you are. Like, just really I mean, you guys are teenagers, so I'm sure you guys are assholes still. Like that just is part of it. But for teenage assholes, you guys are good assholes. Like I think Ryan, you might need to edit that out. That was getting weird. But the point is, like, I really think highly of you guys, and I think what you've been through is part of that. But just kind of help our listeners, some of them are young kids like yourselves, some of them are parents who have young kids. And so just trying to understand you're part of the story. But what are some ways you guys coped, you think, being a kid into your teenage years that were healthy and good? If there were some bad ones, maybe you can mention them. But what do you think, looking back now, what do you think's helped you get through this?
Obviously the big one, basketball, and just I just go do that whenever basketball, listen to music, and kind of just calm
I think
down.
basketball and skateboarding are two of the best sports because, like, you don't need anyone.
Yeah.
You don't need anyone. You
Yeah.
don't need anything to be open. You can just get a ball and find a hoop at a park.
Yeah.
Or you can just get a ball and dribble the ball if you can't even find a hoop.
Yeah.
The same thing with skateboarding. Like, you can go get it as good as you want. Like, you can go practice right now. You don't need anyone else.
Yeah.
You don't need someone to catch it, throw it back to you. Just you. And I think that's what, looking at my life, I use basketball to cope with many things. Like, I just grab my ball and go out in my driveway and just shoot hoops till the sun went down.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's you guys. Like, you guys are hoopers. You guys are gym rats. Isaiah, basketball, a good outlet for you too?
Yeah, for sure. Definitely as I got older too. As being 8, I wouldn't say I was invested as much as I am now into basketball. So, but definitely as I got older, it's basketball, music. You know, I go to therapy too, so that's always like.
When did you start going to therapy?
It honestly wasn't like maybe a year or like it's coming up on a year maybe of going.
You like it?
Yeah, it's nice to just go in every once in a while and talk about what's going on.
Is it just like old school talk therapy, or are you guys doing doodles and going on walks and getting creative, or what?
It's just old school.
Oh, you're just sitting there.
Yeah, I talk to him about things. He's a cool guy. We just talk about life, basketball, whatever I got going on. So just basketball, music, and then when I need to talk, therapy or resort to family.
Boston, you ever do therapy?
Yeah, I actually just started a couple months ago. Apparently my dad tried to put me in it when I was pretty young. And
You don't even remember?
yeah, I don't really remember it, but I just started. She said, come back later. So then here we are, come back later. So I started a couple months ago, but she knew my mom, so I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah. What kind of music you guys listen to? You both said that's a good coping mechanism. Me too. I like Metallica.
Yeah.
Obviously.
I like a lot of different genres of music, honestly. I like more of like the calm music, I would say.
Give me a band, Isaiah, or a musician.
Musician that I like to listen
Throw me
to.
out. Just throw out some names.
There's a musician, his name's Daniel Caesar. He's kind of just like a calm singer, a lot of piano, a lot of.
Wow, I would not expect this from you.
Yeah. I just like I don't know, it's just like the calming music. And I listen to it before games too.
I was about to ask you, like, is this what you're listening to before you?
It just calms me down. It just, like, I don't know. It's
Okay.
nice. But I like country music. You know, me and Boss, we jam out to Morgan Wallen a lot of the time.
No way.
Yeah.
So.
Boston, what about you? What are you listening to before a game?
I'm generic. I just listen to a lot of country.
I didn't know you guys were country boys over here.
Yeah, he put
He's
me on it.
He's less of a country
He
boy
put
than
me on it this past year, so.
Oh, that's hilarious. You guys have been buddies for a while.
Yeah.
We grew up playing against each other. He was on UBC, right?
Yeah.
I was on Hustle
And they
with
always killed us.
Spencer and Jordan and Mark growing up.
So why do you guys love basketball so much?
I just feel a connection with my dad a lot just because we grew up playing a bunch and, you know, he played college basketball and I just wanted to follow in his footsteps. It's always been a dream to me to go play at the next level. So I would just say mostly him.
Boston, what about you?
It's just something I've always grown up with. I loved watching Gordon Hayward for the Jazz.
That's so random. Like Gordon Hayward.
I used to have like a mini Papa shot in my room, and I always try to like, he shoots with like his hand under the ball.
Yeah.
I always like try to shoot like that. I was like, and Steph Curry, obviously. So
Yeah, I think like being a basketball trainer, like the number one thing you have to have is the kid's got to like basketball.
yeah,
Like if he doesn't like it, this isn't
Yeah.
gonna work out for anyone, dude. But like you guys are hoopers. You guys love it.
Yeah.
Depression, suicide ideation. That's what's the right word? That's more popular with not popular. That's more common with teenagers today. You guys have been through a lot. What's that been like? Any issues there? Why you guys going to therapy? Just touching things up, just talking, or how's that been?
No, yeah. There's always like the dark side to it, I would say. You know, when you lose someone you love a lot, you got a lot of things running through your mind. And I would say mine got really bad when I moved back up here to Utah and my family was still down in Vegas. It was just a big change for me, and it kind of almost felt like I lost my mom and my siblings too, because I don't see them as much as I used to. So I would say like that was kind of a rough patch for me. Maybe for 8th grade year, for going into my freshman year was probably the hardest for me, and that's kind of when things started to go kind of back to where the feeling was of losing my dad, kind of.
How would that impact like your day to day? Are you just laying in your bed?
Yeah, that's
more?
kind of when like the depression kind of hit. I wouldn't talk to a lot of people. I would just kind of sit in my room. It was a new environment for me, so I kind of was like, just kind of felt weird. So just a big depression wave kind of hit for like maybe a year or two.
What pulled you out of that, you think?
Just the comfortability with my aunt and uncle, and like getting back up here in the swing of things kind of helped a lot, like getting more comfortable with them, and they would make sure that I'm okay, make sure that I felt like comfortable living with them and like loved there, and so they just been a great like help through it all too.
Yeah.
So
Boston, what about you? Depression?
I don't know. I never was like that, like it never was like terrible, but like
And it's hard too, because
Yeah.
like, is it depression or is it grief?
Yeah.
And when does it
I didn't.
Yeah,
I
it's
never know
hard.
to label it, but like
Yeah,
8th,
me
9th
neither.
grade year, we had moved away from our old house, so I was just kind of sad about like that was the house I grew up in, and then just going to a new school, new middle school, going into
Good.
high school almost. So it was just kind of a transition period, I guess. But
Isaiah, you said when you got close to your aunt and uncle, one thing that's I've learned about grief is you can't really fix it. Like,
Yeah.
there's nothing I can do that will replace your dad and your mom and your sister. But I think just being heard, and being able to express how you feel and not be in trouble for it, but just feeling validated. Like, yeah, it's okay to feel that way, and I understand why. That's what's helpful to me. I think being a teenager, like, so many kids your age are struggling, and it's so hard for them to talk. And they just need to be heard. They just need to be seen. And someone needs to tell them, like, man, that must be so hard. That's all they kind of need sometimes. And I think it's weird because a lot of teenagers and adults too, their cry for help is just shutting down. Like, I'm just going to shut down and hope someone notices. And it doesn't work very well. And so I think just trying to help these kids your age, like, not feel stupid or bullied or like, do you think it's hard for teenagers like yourselves to feel like they can talk about this stuff without being made fun of or without getting ridiculed? Or do you guys worry about that as teenagers, or is that just me being an adult looking at like just my own opinion?
I've noticed like one of my teammates, his dog was passing away or something, but he's like too prideful to even like act like he was sad about it. So I guess I mean it's a different thing, but
Yeah,
like he just doesn't even want.
it's just gonna get worse. By the way, like as you guys get older, like
Yeah.
the communication gets worse. Like no one opens up.
Yeah.
No one talks about the shit they're going through.
Yeah.
It's
Like,
just
you
like,
just-
oh, I'm good. Everything's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
I'm so successful.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just like, how do you help these teenagers, man? Like, what would be helpful for you guys? Is it like a guest speaker like me coming in and just cries and like, oh, you guys should talk about it? Or you guys like definitely don't be that guy and talk about it. Like I don't even know how to help, but something needs to change, man. Like,
Yeah.
but it sucks with teenagers because you always have those douchebags that aren't depressed, but
Yeah.
they act depressed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, I took 80 pills. You're like, no, you didn't. And the shitty thing is someone actually is, and you're making like,
Yeah.
I'm just rambling now. But yeah, I think it's tough. Ryan, you gonna say something?
I was gonna say, sometimes I think, like, when the accident first happened with you, it was nice when people treated you like a person.
Yeah.
And I think, I could be wrong. I think it goes for all people, but boys and men particularly, this, don't treat me like a wounded dog.
Yeah. And I think that's
Like, I don't want to be a wounded dog. I'm not weak.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
something really shitty happened to me. But that doesn't mean that, don't put the ceiling on top of me because of something awful.
right.
Like, I have just as much capacity and potentials.
Yeah, I do think that's part of the reason why people don't want to talk is they don't want to be the weak link. Like I don't want to be picked last in gym class. Like I don't want to.
And if I talk about it,
Right.
are they gonna play down to me?
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I remember when I started playing basketball again. Because you know what it feels like a little bit. Have you guys ever seen the movie Space Jam with MJ, the good one, not the shitty one with LeBron?
Yeah.
But there's a part where he tries baseball out and he's striking out, but everyone's so nice to him. And so he gets home from the game and he's talking to his kids about it. And they're like, how was the game? He's like, awful. I struck out. And he's like, oh, were people like yelling at him? He's like, worse. They were real nice. And like the point is like, yeah, like everyone is so nice. I don't even like, am I just the Make-A-Wish kid now? Like everyone's just nice to me. And I remember I started playing basketball again and people were like blocking my shot and the refs calling a foul on me. And part of me is like, thanks, guys. Like, way to just treat me like a normal person because, like, yeah, like, and back to the talking thing. I do think that's as hard with teenagers is, yeah, you don't want to be the weakest one in the group.
Yeah.
And so what do I do with my weaknesses? I don't talk about them. And it sucks, man. And I'm a believer if you don't have a solution and you're talking about it, then you're just whining. So I guess I'm just whining because I don't really have a solution to the problem, but other than just being willing to talk about my weaknesses all the time and just post it online. Okay. Anything else you guys want to talk about before we get into we wrap it up with our NBA draft? Any last comments, thoughts, questions? Anything you want to get off your chest? I don't want you driving home like, man, I was going to talk about this quote that I love, but I didn't.
No, I don't think so.
You guys
I
are
think
good.
that's good.
Wait, I got one more.
Ryan's got a question for you guys. You're not off the hook yet.
So, and maybe we're beating a dead horse here, but 10-year-old, 8-year-old loses parent or sibling. You've lived, for you it's like 9 years, right? 'Cause you're
Yeah.
17.
Yeah.
And then it's been 7, 8.
Yeah, about 8. Yeah.
So, little, like, you see a kid going through something similar. What advice do you have for him?
Dang, that's a good.
That is a good question.
Yeah, so what advice do you have for a kid that's possibly going through something similar to you guys? Just lost their dad, their mom, sister. What would you tell them?
I'd probably say, talk about it. Like best, you're not. It's gonna just get worse if you just keep it inside. Like I'm sure if everybody's had moments where something's bad happened to them and you just keep it inside, and it never turns out good that way. So just talk about it, get help however you need it, whether that's going to therapy, finding a hobby you love, I don't know, just finding ways to cope with things in a healthy way would probably be what I would say to them.
Bossed.
Yeah, I mean, talk about it. Don't suffer in silence, and then I guess just try to do the right thing because it'd be easy to go like this happens, so like why would I even try? But still try to go down the right.
Yeah, I do
path,
that
do the right
sometimes,
thing.
and it's not good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think one of the hard things is like maybe for you it was your aunt and uncle.
Yeah.
Is some kids, who do I talk to?
Yeah.
No one knows.
Because-
how to feel.
And it's hard for them to talk to, like, I'm sure you didn't really want to talk to your mom because you're just watching your mom grieve or Corey. And so you probably feel as a kid like, well, I don't want to make the weight heavier by saying I need help. And so, I think that's another reason. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, though. I feel like you were about to say something, Isaiah. Or were you?
Well, he just brought up my aunt and uncle about shoot, now I'm blank.
I know it happens. See? It happens.
Oh yeah, talking to them. Yeah, they've been a big help, my aunt and uncle, and like you said about like the weight with my mom. Like she was super strong with it, but it was also like she had a lot going on outside of the situation, so it was kind of like I didn't want to, put too much on her.
No,
So
I think that happens a lot.
once I kind of moved up here with my aunt and uncle, it was kind of more like I didn't have siblings around me. It was kind of just me and them in the house. So they kind of the focus was more on me, I would say. So that's kind of when they wanted me to go to therapy. They wanted me to talk about things more. Like
I feel like a routine too. Like once a kid finds a routine, that's very helpful. So that's probably good for you too.
yeah,
I think honestly, grief's a lot like basketball. Like, and it's gonna sound corny because you've heard it your whole life, but the we is stronger than me is totally true. And then in basketball, think of like I'm sure you've heard it all your life, but you have to communicate.
yeah,
Like every coach you've ever had, if you want to be a great basketball player, you have to talk. It's the same thing with grief. Like if you want to get anything out of it and still have a productive life with it, you have to talk about it. You have to. There's no other way around it. And then asking for help. Big part, like help over here, mismatch, like whatever it is, like help side. And so I think basketball, I'm with you guys. I think basketball has been a really good metaphor for life for me and grief and understanding that, like, man, I'm at my best when I'm with a good team. Like, if there's good teammates around me, then that's when I'm the best version of myself. And that's who I was as a basketball player, like just being a passer and getting other people involved and being a part of something. I think all that stuff is huge.
yeah.
So, yeah, man, basketball's the best.
It is. It is the best.
Ryan, good question, man. Any other questions with the teenagers?
I think it's great you're going to therapy.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of teenagers that
Oh yeah,
don't want to go to therapy.
for sure.
And why do you think that is?
I'm not gonna lie. When I first started, like I would say, it's the worst. Even now, like just driving there. Like driving there is the worst because it's like, oh, I don't want to talk about it. Like it just sucks. Like it just sucks driving there, and it's like I don't even want to do it. Like why am I doing it? And it's kind of just like, am
That
I
was
really
me.
like mentally like?
I remember I started talking about it. I'm like, why are we talking about
Yeah.
this stuff?
Yeah, but I mean that's probably the hardest part. But once you get there and like when you're wrapping things up, it's like okay, like I don't even want to leave anymore now. Like I feel good. Like so, just kind of doing the hard things,
Just
but
showing
knowing,
up
yeah, showing up,
doing it.
yeah. So
It's so true but after you feel like you just threw up and you're just like, oh, or like, yeah, you just get done with like a workout at the gym and that was terrible and you're driving, like, I don't want to work out.
yeah,
And then after you feel, you feel little lighter.
Yeah,
Like,
for sure.
oh, man, maybe I can carry this weight the rest of my life till I'm 70 or whatever.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I think for me it was when I started going to therapy. I remember talking to my wife because I didn't go to therapy till I was 30.
Yeah.
Why? Like, hold on. You didn't go to therapy just because you viewed therapy like, oh, pussy, like you're going to therapy.
Yeah, I was like, oh, I can figure this out.
Yeah, that's how I viewed it too.
And like a good, I'm not a basketball guy, but I think a good coach, they know things you don't know. They have tools in the toolkit that you don't have, and they can kind of unlock things that you know are there, and maybe subconsciously you feel like you could work it out yourself, but them just saying, hey, try this.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it just kind of unravels and the onion starts to peel back. But for me, I remember talking to my wife and being like, I need a neutral party
Yeah.
to talk to. I need someone who doesn't know me and like I can unload the shit I don't want to say to the people I love.
Right.
Because I'm afraid if I say it to the people I love the most, that's going to hurt you, and then it complicates things. Where if it's a neutral party, you don't know me from Adam.
Right.
So,
I think what therapy did for me, because it's so hard to talk about, like, these are brutal stories. And so I think what therapy did for me was like, okay, like here's an hour that we're cutting out for this. Like, we're going to talk about it. And so like Z, like, yeah, part of it is like, man, we have to, like driving there, like, man, we have to talk about this. But at the same time, like, just, I think what you're saying is good, Ryan. Like, knowing that I'm going to talk to this guy and I'm going to have to be here for an hour. Like, I can't run, like, I'm here. And just, and that's why I love the podcast. Like, the podcast is like, there's so many people I've interviewed where they get to a point where they usually shut it down. Like, they don't go there. Like, they don't talk about it. But they talk about it on the podcast because they know that there's people listening, that they're part of this team, that they're part of this that they can help people, and talking about it can help them. And they kind of feel like this commitment all of a sudden to push through. And it's like a beautiful thing to watch. And I think therapy helps me with that. Is like, hey, like, we're here. We're set this time to do it. So like, let's do it. And as grief comes in waves, that's something I've learned is when the waves come, like, you just have to embrace it and don't run away from it, but just feel it wholeheartly and let yourself be broken. And then it's easier to pick yourself back up. But yeah, I think just the type of kids you are, being at your school, being basketball players, I think a lot of kids look up to you. And I think being on a podcast like this could be helpful, man. Like, you can talk about your weaknesses and be heard and not be made fun of, and we're all going through it type of thing.
Yeah, I agree.
So thanks, guys.
For sure. Thank you.
And basketball's the best, man. Like, it will get you through life.
Yeah.
Just pick up a ball. I remember right after the accident, I was working out Ace. Well, Leslie messaged me. She's like, hey, do you want to work out Ace? I'm like, yeah. I think I said yeah. And so I'm starting to work out Ace again. And I have my headphones in. I'm not even looking at Ace. And I just rebound for him for an hour. And then I leave. And that's like what I did. I'm like, you don't have to pay me. But it was fun just working out Ace. And just, it was like, that just came back to me. I forgot about that. But yeah, basketball will be there for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of basketball, are we ready to end on our fantasy draft?
Yeah. I am. Yeah.
Do we feel good about the podcast? I loved it. I think having young perspectives is so cool, and it doesn't happen enough. So thanks for being brave enough to come on.
Thank you.
Ryan, any other brain busters?
No.
All right.
I'm excited to. The viewers need a better draft.
We did a fantasy draft about a year ago with Ryan and Coach Holt, and Ryan picked Michael Jordan, which is a great pick, and then it was he ended up picking Amari Stoudemire.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did.
No, I did. Oh.
And Isaiah Thomas.
No, I don't think I chose Amari.
Dang.
It wasn't good who
I
you
chose
picked.
Isaiah Thomas, but I didn't understand the dynamic between MJ and Isaiah.
Point is, it was an air ball, is what it
I
was.
chose
air ball.
Rondo.
The dynamic.
Yeah, he chose Rondo.
Oh boy.
That's even worse than
Yeah,
Amari.
I'm not a hooper.
Yeah, we know.
Break it.
Okay, so we're gonna do snake draft. You guys know what that is?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Let's just do rock, paper, scissors. First, second, third place.
All right.
Actually, yeah, let's just do that. Okay, here we go.
He's going all this.
We're going rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
All right.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Okay, Boston, your first
All
pick. Me and you, Z.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
I'm second pick. You're third, Z. All right, Boston.
All right. I gotta go MJ.
Good
First
pick.
pick.
I'm gonna go. I have to go LeBron. Damn it!
I'm surprised.
I don't even like the guy.
I'll take Kobe.
Yeah, you gotta take
Kobe. Let's go with Shaq. Kobe and Shaq.
Give me. Damn. Now I gotta guard Shaq with someone.
How are we doing this? Are we just doing a starting five or?
Yeah, starting five. We'll do a 6-man maybe.
Ooh, Kobe and Shaq. My team's nice.
So I was gonna pick a team, but now like Shaq's a problem. So I'm not gonna be able to guard him anyway. So maybe I just won't worry about it. Okay, I'm just going. I have LeBron. Give me Steph.
Okay, that's
pick.
This is hard.
I'll take Magic.
Magic.
All right. I gotta shoot.
No. Is it me?
No. It's
No, you picked 2, Boston.
Oh, I go 2.
Yeah, you're first, and then it's me
Magic
again.
and give me Larry Bird. Even though they
Okay, so
don't
you
like
got
each other.
MJ, Magic, and Larry.
Pulse influencing.
Man, he's got a squad. Okay, I got LeBron and Curry, and now I'm gonna go. Oh man, give me. I don't even like him, but I'm gonna have to go Kevin Durant.
that was my next pick.
That's
Yeah,
too
I just have to. I need him.
that was my
All right, I
next
have a good
one.
one. I got a good one.
All right.
You got 2, Z. You get 2 right here.
I got a point.
You have Kobe and Shaq.
Yeah. I need a point guard. Shoot. Who we got? Man. Let's go with Steve Nash as the point guard.
Wow, I like that.
Steve Nash. I got a Lakers squad. Who else? Shoot. Steve Nash, Kobe, Shaq. I'm gonna go with Kawhi Leonard.
That's a good pick.
Great defensive guy. Can get a bucket too.
You know, I kind of hate Kawhi just because of the resting. What do they call that?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I forget what it's called.
Yeah, they rest him. Why am I
Yeah.
blanking on it?
I'm talking about Kawhi when he's on the Spurs.
No, but like Kawhi in his prime,
Yeah.
one of the best 2-way players ever. That's a
he's
heck of a
nice.
pick. That's
Yeah.
a great pick. But like I didn't think of him because the last 5 years I just haven't thought of him.
Yeah. These are the
That
players
was a
in their
sneaky
prime,
good pick
right?
because all you get them all in your prime. What
Yeah.
get Michael Jordan from the Wizards? What are you talking about?
Just making sure. Just making sure.
Okay. I need the right answer is Olajuwon or Kareem for Shaq. I'm gonna get creative though. I don't think you're gonna guard Shaq anyway. Like he's just gonna get 40 and 20.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll foul him in the 4th. I'm gonna get the Joker.
Okay.
I'm gonna get the Joker. I have LeBron and him passing to Steph and KD. I like it.
You got like the modern era.
I know, and I don't
Thought it
like
would
that.
be switched.
I
Thought it
know,
would be
I like the
switched.
old school players, but this is where I'm at. But like, it's hard because I would kick Bob Cousy's ass. I would destroy him. I would do a cross jab, and he'd be like, "What's that? That's illegal." Like
A cross job.
you guys would destroy those guys.
Yeah.
They couldn't make a layup. Go watch Magic Johnson. He's barely dribbling left-handed. I kid you not. Go watch the 80s. You can watch it on YouTube. Magic's bringing up the ball on the left side of the court with his right hand.
Yeah.
Not good. So like in basketball, it's weird because like these decades of players, like you can't compare them. Like, how do you compare
Yeah.
Bill Russell to these guys today? You just can't do it. It's hard, man. Okay, where are we at with the draft?
So I got.
Are you done? I have
got
4.
my 5.
You have 5?
Yeah.
I have 3, I think.
So it's me, and then you have the final 2,
Yeah.
and we're done. So I got, man, I'm having too much fun doing this. This is great. We should start a basketball
Steve Nash,
podcast.
Kobe, Shaq.
I got LeBron,
You went 4.
Joker,
Who else did I say?
Katie, and Steph.
I don't even know who Joker. Am I supposed to know?
Yeah,
Nikola Jokic.
Yeah, Jokic.
The horse rider.
Give me. Yeah, I want an old school guy now. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go Dirk Nowitzki. Yeah,
Oh, that's from left field.
it was, but like not a top 10 guy for sure. But for my team, he's perfect.
Is it me or you next?
I think it's me.
I have 4.
Over Dirk.
No, not with my Malone can't hit the 3. Dirk can hit 3s.
Okay.
Okay, I like my squad.
All right.
Plus, I get Prime Dirk. Prime Dirk went through the Heat.
He was good.
He went through the Lakers. He went through Kobe, KD. He went through all these guys. Give me 2009 Dirk. Okay, Boston.
All right. Mine's kind of controversial. One of them. Anthony Edwards.
That's good.
At my 2 guard.
That's been the worst pick today, but I do like him.
Yeah, but it's my 2 guard. He's got
Yeah, he's good. You have MJ and his son.
Yeah, basically.
Wow.
And then I don't even know. I need a center. We'll just go Kareem. Just keep it.
Just one of the best players ever to just round out. Let's just get the best center ever, maybe. Okay, so Boston, what's your squad? We have
Magic, Anthony Edwards, MJ. Who's my 4? Larry Bird and Kareem.
that's a squad. That's a good team.
I need one more. Now that I'm thinking about it, I had 4. So
Oh, you got screwed over then in the draft.
I think I'm still winning though. So I got Steve Nash at my point. Kawhi, let's put him at like the small forward. Who else did I say? Kobe, Shaq. So Kobe at my 2.
Shaq.
So I need what, a 4?
Power forward, yeah.
Let's go Tim Duncan.
Well, that's a good pick.
Tim Duncan.
I don't like anyone on my team,
I think I win.
but I have the best team.
No,
So I
think it's
got
me.
Steph Curry.
Yeah, that's tough.
Ever heard of him?
Yeah.
Based
He's
on
not my
him.
1 though. LeBron's my 1. Steph's wherever. He's just running around. So I got LeBron. I got Steph. I got Joker. I got Dirk Nowitzki, and I got KD. I got shooters literally every spot. Good luck.
It's true.
And I can defend. I got some big bodies. I got Steph, but okay, we'll list those teams when we post the episode. We'll vote on it. It'll be fun. Thanks so much for coming on, guys, and good luck in the state tournament.
Thank you.
I hope you guys bring home the trophy.
Me as well. Thank you.
And life's 10% what happens to you and 90% what you're going to do about it.